Hey friends, it is Thursday, November the 19th, and today we have kind of a lot of work to do, but we're going to push through and we're going to get through it because we know we have to, and it's almost Friday, so that's even more encouraging. Like I said, it's the 19th today, and here is our new marker. I have actually already updated it for us in order to kind of speed today's lesson along. So we still have the same pattern, and now we have collected a full 24 hours. Okay. Also, since it is day 13 of Number Corner, we are adding our 13th cup, which we had 3 as of yesterday after we added 4, and we know we've done some conversion work. And now that we're adding our 13 cup, now we have 3 1/4 quarts. And so it's represented here by this equation, and we know that we could use some other equations as well to represent that amount. But today, I want to tell you what our focus is. Our focus is on estimating and rounding, and I think that you guys should be pretty good with rounding and hopefully pretty good at estimating, but we want to focus on when we should estimate, and we want to solidify our understanding of rounding. So as I pull up the page that we need for today, I would like for you to talk about or think about when you might want or need to round numbers in real life. In your life, when do you round? When do you say, oh, it's about this much? When? I know I round a lot when I am shopping for something. So instead of saying I spent $87.92, I might say I spent about $90 or it was almost $100. That's a lot of when I use rounding. Maybe you do the same thing. Because sometimes we don't need to know the exact. We just need to know the ballpark amount. Or even if I am thinking in terms of about how much my paycheck was, I might round in too when I'm talking about how much it was or about how much I need to pay on a bill. Those are the times I use rounding in real life. So we are going to look at some problems together. I'm going to zoom in some. We're going to start with problem number 1 here. And I would like for you to, well, actually, I'm going to read it out loud. We're going to kind of go through this together. Okay. Samira's class is raising money for the local animal shelter. In September, her class raised $231. In October, they raised $347. In November, they raised $162. About how much did the class raise in these 3 months? Explain how you made your estimate for this problem. So clearly, it's telling us we need to do what? Right? We need to estimate. So what is the problem asking us to estimate? Right, the total amount of money that was raised, because September was an amount, October and November. So tell me how you would go about solving this problem. How could you make an estimate? What would you do with the number 231, with the number 347, and 162? Good. So we'd round the numbers, or we could round the numbers to the nearest tens. But in this case, I think it would be more helpful or more beneficial, easier for us to solve if we rounded our numbers to the nearest hundreds. A lot of times I like to look and see what is our greatest place value, and then we round it to that greatest place value. So our greatest place value in 231 is the hundreds place. So what would 231 round to? Good, it rounds to just $200. Remember, if we're rounding to the hundreds place, we look at the tens place, and if it's less than 5, that means we round down. It's definitely closer to 200 than 300. So 347 would round to, good, 300. And then 162 would round to You got it, 200. So we could do this math really easy, right? So these are our rounded numbers. Did we answer the question? No. It says how much did they raise in those 3 months? So we can add that really quickly. 300 plus 200, 500 plus another 200 is $700. So they've raised about $700. Do you think that 700 is a reasonable estimate for this problem? I think so, because if we were to add the hundreds, 200 plus 300 is 500, plus another 100 is 600, and then we have 62 and 31, that's close to 100, plus a little bit more. So about 700 would definitely be reasonable. Let's look at problem number 2. Ryan's class is also raising money for the animal shelter. They want to raise $500. So far they have raised $278. About how much money do they still need to raise to get to their goal of 500? Take a second and think about that. What might you do? Have you recognized that this is a little different than the first problem? They want to raise 500, so we know the total amount about that they want to get to. We know how much they have, so it's either what we call a missing add-in problem or it is a subtraction problem, okay? So work through this problem. I'm going to give you a few moments. If you need to pause this video, please do so. All right, what'd you get? About how much money? About how much money? About how much money? So did you say about $200? $200 plus $200 would give us $400.78, but that's not quite there yet, right? So $200 would be reasonable because we could round 278 to the nearest tens, placing it 280, or to the nearest hundreds, placing it 200. 300, excuse me, plus another 200 would be 500. So if you got 200, I completely understand that. It just wouldn't quite get us to 500, but would be really close. So in this case, actually, it may be easier to round to the nearest tens place. So we have 280. We know 20 more dollars would give us 278 rounds to 280. We know 20 more dollars would give us 300 plus the 200. So we actually could be more specific or get a little bit closer by saying that the estimate is about $220, about. Okay, and we would get a lot closer to $500 with that estimate. All right, let's look at problem number 3. All right, Carlos's class is collecting supplies for disaster relief. They want to collect 150 items. Carlo brought in 4 packages of bandages. Each package has 12 bandages in it. Lily brought in 6 packs of canned goods. Each pack has 3 cans in it. About how many more items does Carlos's class need to bring in? Explain your reasoning. Now, let's break down this problem because it sounds like a lot's going on, right? Yeah, we're going to have to really think about what's happening. The question is asking what? Yeah, about how many more cans does the class need to bring in? But they give us some different information. We know they want to collect 150. He has 4 packs with 12 in each pack, and then 6 packs with 3 in each pack. So I'm going to tell you that this problem you do need a round, but there's also parts of it where you need to be very precise. What part do you think you need to be precise with? Finding out how many packages they have, or about how many more items they would need to bring in? Yeah, let's be precise with finding out how many packages they already have, or how many items, I should say, they already have, because in each package there's more than one item. So how many packs of, or how many bandages do they have in all? A lot of parts. So let's break it down. Right. 4 packs with 12 bandages in each one. So what do we do with that? Good. 4 times 12. And should we estimate 4 times 12? We don't need to. We know 4 times 12, right? You guys know 4 times 12. Well, maybe you should. 4 times 10 is 40, so we know it's about 40. We could estimate, but I'm hoping you guys know 4 times 12 is 48 because it's 2 times 12 doubled, and we know our 2s really well, right? Doubling, having. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so we know that there are 48 bandages, and I should label my answer actually. Bandages. There we go. All right, so what about the canned goods? How many canned goods do we have? Yes, there's 6 packs with 3 in each pack, so how can we solve that? Good. 6 times 3 equals 18. 18 canned goods. So I'm going to label that. Now, they said that they want to collect 150 items. So how many items did they collect? Yeah, can we estimate here? We were precise with finding out how many items we have, but can we estimate now? This is about 50, and this is about 20. So they have about how many items? 70 items, about 70 items. Okay, so if they have about 70 items, about how many more would they need to get to 150? So we got to figure out the difference between 150 and 70. Shouldn't have to estimate this because that's an easy problem. Nice numbers. We know 70 is 50 and 20. So 150 minus 50 is 100. Minus 20 more would be 80. They need about 80. They need 80 more items. I'm going to label this as well. You guys with me there? Does that make sense? You follow? All right. Now we have our last problem for today. Sam's class is also collecting items for disaster relief. They want to collect 200 items. Sam brought in 36 bottles of water. Trayvon brought in 4 cases of vitamins with 6 packages of vitamins in each case. Kate brought in 9 packs of soup with 3 cans of soup in each pack. About how many more items do they need to collect to get their goal of 200 items? So fairly similar to the one we just did where there's a lot of steps, okay? So think about the individual parts of the problem and when you need to be precise and when you can make an estimate. So I do want you to pause this video at this time so that you can work it out. All right, so welcome back. Hopefully you made it this far. We're breaking it into chunks. If you remember, that's what I said before you were supposed to pause this video. Sam had 36 items. Trayvon had 4 cases with 6 in each pack, so that's 4 times 6, which is 24 items. Kate had 9 times 3, 9 packs with 3 in each pack, so that's 27 items, which gives us a total of about 90 items. So notice I was precise here and I rounded here because this would be 40 plus 20 plus 30, okay? So that's 90 items, but they want to collect 200. So about how many more items do they need to collect? Right, they need about, I can say about 100 items, or I can be more specific and say 110 more items. They need about 100 more, I'll just put 110. 110 more items. 100 items would work too. Definitely not 200. That'd be way too much. I mean, excess is always great. But if you have a goal and you're shooting for your goal, and if you get excess, then you celebrate like, yes, I got more than what I wanted. But we're not going to shoot over our goal and then we're going to feel like we didn't meet our goal if we don't meet that, what we shot over, by adding 200 to that, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so now I have a question. How do you know, or how should you know, what should you look for to know when you need to round and estimate in a story problem? What words did you hear over and over that might tell you that you need to estimate? Yeah, if it says estimate, you're definitely going to estimate. Like the first problem, it says they ask for the estimate. You're right. What else? Anybody notice the about how many? Look, about how many? About how many? We can even go to the first page and it would say about how many or about how much, which is the same in essence. This one actually said estimate, like we just talked about. So about how many is another one of those key terms that'll signal you need to round and estimate. But why is it a good idea to round and estimate? I'm going to tell you my reason. If you don't know how to solve a problem, if you don't, let's see, how do I want to say this? If you don't know the answer to a problem and you're working it out, drawing pictures, you're showing your work, it's really good to have an estimate because then you know what a reasonable answer might be. Okay, so if I make an estimate and I get 100, but when I'm solving the problem, I get 400, something's wrong. I need to go back and check my work. So really, estimates are going to help you determine if your answers, your actual precise answers, are reasonable or not. Sometimes you estimate if you don't have a paper or pencil to work things out on. Sometimes it's good to estimate when you're just trying to figure something out in your head, like we were talking about with money, about how much more you might need in order to reach a goal, things like that, okay? But definitely, estimates are going to help you figure out if your answers are reasonable or not. So, great job today, guys. Thank you for working hard, making the effort to think through these problems with me. And I will see you tomorrow for Friday, right before the weekend. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.